I know we have a couple more minutes, but I'll
We do.
record it from now because I don't want to forget later.
So
As it has happened.
indeed it has. So we have Crystallite, which is a lovely name. I haven't heard that name before. Crystallite from Ghana. We have someone from Bulgaria, Marcus, North Dakota, Greece. Oh, Angela, Greece would be lovely now. And Ada from Albania. Oh, whereabouts in Albania? Are you in Tirana? And Maria from Geneva. And Ada, yes, Tirana. I love Tirana. I broke down on my motorbike there a few years ago. Everyone was so helpful to me. It made it a wonderful experience. I stayed in the city for a few days while it was being repaired. So it was lovely. And there's a few more people logging in. Oh, a lot more have just logged on. Oh,
yes, we're waiting for over 100 some people.
Okay.
That have registered from everywhere on the globe. It's really exciting.
Oh, and Carol is from Texas. Now, where have I been to in Texas? I've been to Dallas and Fort Worth. So they're the only two places I've been there. I liked Fort Worth. Dallas was a bit busy for me, but Fort Worth was lovely. It was like stepping back a few years. So
before we start in earnest, feel free to, if you want to turn on your camera, say hello. We'd love to see your smiles.
We're going to start in 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. If you could turn on your cameras, it would be really appreciated. We do love to see everyone, and it gets quite lonely here on my own. And just for the last few people, if you could put in the chat, excuse me, where you are calling in from. And there's more people registering. I really need to do a little bit on time management. So,
hi, Petya.
So.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
We have Petya Taneva and Petya Ivanova.
Oh, yes. And Cincinnati. Steve from Cincinnati. Don't know if you probably know, Steve, that your city is called after one of the famous Roman emperors, one of the greatest of all time that almost never gets mentioned. A guy called Cincinnatus. I don't know if you knew that.
Wonderful. So we
and we have Brian.
We have Vasilina.
Okay, so we have people from so many different parts of the world. It's absolutely lovely to see. So, ladies and gentlemen, just before we begin, if I could please ask those who are able to put their camera on. Still have people logging in. And Brian, lovely to see Brian. Looking good, my friend. Looking good. Okay, I think we're probably about ready to start. So, final call, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of housekeeping tips. If you have any noise in the background, it would be great if you could just keep yourself muted while you're listening. But of course, you can unmute and ask questions at any time, Oh, there are more people logging in.
Yeah.
Just have to keep my eye on that.
I told you we're over 100 people.
Yeah. Oh, and more are logging in.
So I'll take care of that.
Will you take care of that? Thank you, Catherine. Okay, appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Lovely to see you all. If you do have a camera and you are able to open it up or use it, it would be lovely to see you. It's always nice to see people's faces. Oh, and there's another 8 or 10 people logging in as we speak. So, yeah, I do need to do a little bit on time management, I think. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So this short presentation, I say short, I have no idea how long it's going to take. I really haven't. We call this an introduction to coaching. And it's designed for people who are looking at the wonderful world of coaching as a potential career. It's for people who are thinking about becoming a coach, but they're not too sure. And hopefully it will get all of your questions answered. So this is about you, not me. I have some topics I really would like to cover and share with you. I want to talk to you about who we are a little bit. I want to talk to you about this industry of coaching, what it's doing, how it's growing, where it's going. I want to talk about what is coaching, the pillars or the tenets, and why is coaching different from training, counseling, and all of these other techniques. I'll talk a little bit about how to train as a coach. I'll give you some examples. Money. Now, I know none of you are interested in money, but I will talk a little bit about how much does a coach earn, and I will give you some real examples. And I want to touch on the topic of quality, accreditation, standards, and what does that mean within our industry. But as I said, this meeting is your meeting, not mine. So I want you to be able to stop me at any time and ask questions. The way you can ask a question is either put up your real hand, and hopefully I'll see it, or maybe I won't, or put up your little yellow Zoom hand and I will come to you. Or you could even type a question into the chat, and Catherine, maybe you'll keep an eye on the chat and let me know if there's a question I have to answer.
Absolutely.
So there you go. But the important thing is, ladies and gentlemen, this is your meeting. I want to be of value, and I want you to get all of your questions answered. So here we go. First of all, a little bit about us, Noble Manhattan. We are one of the longest established coach training companies in the world. We started in the year 2000. So we've been going now, just a couple of months under 25 years. We currently have offices covering 25 countries in the world. And we have trained, up until date, up to now, just over 25,000 men and women as magnificent coaches, life coaches, executive coaches, team coaches, all over the world. Right now, today, we deliver our coach training programs in 8 separate languages. So not just English, 8 languages. And today, at the time of this recording, we actually have about 20 completely different coach training programs. So we have programs that you can register on, and they will qualify you to be an international life coach or executive coach or team coach, manager coach, parenting coach, relationship coach, couples coach, creativity coach, child and adolescent coach, and much, much more. So whatever people are hoping to get from the wonderful world of coaching, there is a very good possibility that we will be able to help and support you on that journey. Today, I'm going to give some figures. And most of the figures I give are from an organization called PwC. Maybe you've heard of them, PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of these big consulting companies worldwide. They do a survey on coaching every year, have done for about 8 years. And every January, February, they do a worldwide survey on coaching all over the globe. And they produce a huge report. It's about 150 pages. And you can actually access it on their American website. You can download their 150-page PDF. And a lot of the figures I will be quoting today are from the PwC annual reviews. One thing that has come out, and this to me I find wonderful, you may or may not know that right now coaching is one of the fastest growing industries in the whole world. In fact, they rank it at number 2. Not just this year, not just last year, but literally for the last 4 or maybe even 4 or 5 years, coaching has been the second fastest growing industry in the world. You know, and I find that wonderful, actually, absolutely wonderful. I don't want to get too introspective here, but you know, the universe has a habit of producing what it needs at the time it needs it. And the way I feel is that coaching is needed in the world today, almost more than ever. And coaches are doing such a magnificent job. They are changing people's lives. They are helping people in so many innumerable ways. And I think this is one of the reasons that coaching is booming. So, second fastest growing industry in the world. What's the first, number 1? Well, it might come as no shock to hear that it's IT. A combination of software and hardware, the two together, that industry is just blowing up like a volcano with AI and so on. But coaching is the second fastest growing industry in the world. In the world of coaching, there are a number of training organizations like us. We are a coach training company. And there are, at the last count, about 900. About 900. Our company, Noble Manhattan Coaching, as I mentioned, we're one of the longest established, and we are in the top 3. Top 3 in the globe. So we have a lot of experience, not just in training people to be great coaches, because that is important, but not just that, but also helping, supporting, and looking after those men and women after they have trained, helping them to build and grow and sustain a very rewarding professional coaching practice. So that is what we pride ourselves on. Not just training you to be a magnificent coach, but looking after you and taking care of you on your journey. So, as I mentioned, there are quite a few things I would like to cover today. I want to talk about what is coaching, the tenets, the pillars of coaching. And I notice we still have people logging in 12 minutes late. That's interesting. A good coach is never late, by the way. Coaches understand the importance of time management. So, okay. Right. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me see if I can do this. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the pillars, what we call the pillars of coaching. Now, I'm not sure if anyone can see my screen yet. You can? A couple of thumbs up. Lovely. Thank you.
Yes.
We can see it, yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So welcome. Just a little bit about the company. We started in 1995, but that was delivering coaching, actually coaching individuals, executives, parents, you name it. We spent 5 years every day of our lives coaching. And then in the year, it was over the Christmas period, 99 to 2000, we started to train coaches. And we've been doing that now for 25 years. We've trained just a tiny bit over 25,000. And we have offices right now covering 28 countries. I came back 4 weeks ago from Japan. We've just opened up an office in Tokyo, in Japan. So there we go. We're an international company, but the head office is in the UK. Okay. Now, a couple of interesting points I'd like to make. Did you know that over 90%, in fact, it's quite a bit more than 90, it's about 96 or 97% of all coaching is delivered at a distance. using tools like Zoom, Teams, Hangout, Skype, telephone, those type of things. Why am I telling you this? To me, I find this so motivating. I find it so beneficial. Now, I've mentioned it earlier, but I live in a very small town on the south coast of England, a little place called Weymouth. It's very beautiful, but there's no big business here. There's no big industry. There's not a huge population. So if I had to rely on Weymouth to provide all of my clients for the rest of my life, I think it might be a struggle. So let me tell you about some of my clients right now. We call them coachees that I coach. One is a lady called Celia. She's in a place called La Jolla near San Diego in California. Works for a big pharmaceutical company called Amgen. There's a gentleman called Taylor. And right now, he's traveling. He's a businessman. He's in Costa Rica. Last month, he was in Mexico. I have a gentleman called Douglas in Singapore. I have a lady called Margaret or Margarota in Gdansk in the north of Poland. These are clients that I coach with on a regular monthly basis. But the point is, I've never met any of them. We do it all on Zoom. So I feel I know them. I see them. Their faces are, 25 inches in front of me on my screen. We have a coffee together, but I've never physically met these men and women. Now, I love that because what does it mean? Now, this is a very important point, very important. Coaches can do what most other people in life cannot do. You can live where you want to live. Most people can't do that. Let's think about it. Most people live near where their job or career is. And in fact, more than that, if someone lives in one city and a better job comes up in another city a few hundred miles away, what do people do? They will move. Coaching is different. Coaching means you can live where you want to live and build an international coaching business from your own home. To me, I find that so motivating, so releasing, so it gives a sense of freedom, and it also gives you a sense of control, real control over your future. So I wanted to share that something like 96, 97% of coaching is done at a distance. We now come to the 3 pillars of coaching that you can see on my screen. Number 1, coaching is non-judgmental. Non-judgmental, what does that mean? It means that to a good coach, it does not matter who your client is. It should not matter if your client is young or old, rich or poor, male or female. It should not matter the color of their skin, the belief system that they follow, the culture they're from. None of that should matter. A good coach should be totally non-judgmental. Now, having said that, that's a problem. It's a big problem. Because the truth is, you and I, pretty much all of us, we are judgmental. How do I know this? We grew up in a family. We got influenced by the people around us. We went to school. We got influenced by that. We live in a community. We get influenced by our community. You watch television. We get influenced by television. You meet friends for a coffee. We get influenced by our friends. So you and I, believe it or not, have a huge weight of judgments sitting on our shoulder. When you learn to be a coach, you learn a technique about how to clear your judgments. It's like taking off a jacket and putting it to one side. so that during your coaching, you are clear. And then when your coaching is finished, if you really want, you can put the jacket on again, put your judgments on again, back to where you were. But something weird happens. The more you practice being non-judgmental, the more you become non-judgmental. You become more compassionate, more accepting of others. And you know, I think that's a good thing. So what you need is the willingness to learn to be non-judgmental. And as a good coach training company will then take you through the process and show you how to do that. So the first pillar of coaching is coaches are non-judgmental. Next, coaches are non-directional. What does that mean? It means that as a coach, there are certain words we don't use. Words like must, have to, ought to, should. There are no shoulds in coaching. We don't point fingers and tell people. Now, is there anything wrong in being directional? Well, no, not really. You know, if we were all gathered here today in a hotel room for this presentation instead of on Zoom, and if the fire alarm bells went off, and if Catherine here stood up and said, every one of you, be silent, listen to me, do exactly what I tell you, and I will lead you out of here safely, I would be right behind you, Catherine. You know, I wouldn't want to call a meeting to discuss it. So there are times in life it is appropriate to be directional. But coaching is not. Coaching is non-directional. Very important point. And finally, the number 3 point, but it's not number 3, it's numero uno, it's the number 1. Coaches have no answer. We have no answer. And it's based on something that Einstein said in the 1930s, you know. He said, in order to solve the problems that we currently face in life, we must access a higher level of intelligence than that which we used to originally create the problem. I'm going to say that again because there's 2 important points in that. So Einstein said, in order to solve the problems that we currently face in life, we must access a higher level of intelligence than that which we used to originally create the problem. So the first message basically says that we don't have the answer. And when I say we, I mean we, the coach. The client has the answer. The answer lies within them. It's just that they, like many humans, they don't know this, they don't understand this, and quite often they don't believe it. Because you see, today, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where we transfer responsibility to other people. You know, we transfer responsibility. You know, you pay some money to go to a theater. You say, I've paid my money, now you must entertain me. Your job is to entertain me because I paid some money, you know. We go to a healer or a doctor. We explain our problem, we give them some money, and then we say, now heal me. And we give them the responsibility to heal us. So we call it in the industry transference of responsibility. Coaching is all about taking that responsibility back as a human being. And a coach will help a client do that by using deep, searching, open questions that help that person to reach deep within themselves and come up with an answer that is right and appropriate for them, not for the coach, for them, the client. So the first message within Einstein's statement is that The answer lies within. The answer lies within. The second message within Einstein's statement is a bit different. Here we are. There's 40 or 50 of us here today on this meeting. I don't know you all. I don't know you. You don't know me. Who knows where this will go? We might end up having an incredible relationship together, getting to know each other. We might not. I don't know. So I don't know you. But that's not true. Actually, I do. I know a huge amount about you, about every one of you. Number one, you are human beings. And as human beings, you have within you the most incredible power. You have a strength. You have a magnificence. If you only came to a true realization of who you are, my goodness, you would be shocked, absolutely shocked to the core, you know, but in a very positive way, in a very positive way. So Einstein is giving the message that we are the most incredible people. We are the most dynamic, the most magnificent creatures in the universe, and we have the answer within us. It's just that we don't know this. And the job of a coach is to work with that client, helping them to reach deep down inside themselves and find the answer that is appropriate. Now, of course, we equip our coaches with all of the tools. We do one of the basic tools is called the Wheel of Life. We teach them coaching models, coaching methods. There are something like 150 coaching tools and models. Let me see if I can find one from my bookshelf here behind me. Here's one, just pulled off the bookshelf. I'm not selling this book, by the way. It's called The Toolful Coach by Laura, wonderful lady, one of our people. And there's 150 coaching models and tools in this one book. So a good coach training company will train their coaches in many of the different methods, tools, techniques, and models, so that that coach, when they're with a client, it doesn't matter if the client has issues because they're a manager in a company or because they're a parent and they're having challenges with their teenage children, or they're being bullied at work, or they want to set goals for their future. A good coach can deal with any and all of these many varied situations and help the client to become empowered. See, coaching is all about empowerment, giving the client back the true power so that they can identify their core values and live a life in alignment with their own core values. So, sorry, that slide, I talked a lot on that slide. A definition of coaching. I'm going to show you two documents here. Coaching is about performing at your best through the individual and private assistance of someone who will challenge, stimulate, and guide you to keep on growing. Again, we have so much information on all of this we can share with you. I just don't want to overwhelm you. And we still have people logging in. 30 minutes late. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Standards and accreditation. So a lot of people, even people who are in the industry, don't really understand what the word accreditation, in America, they're keen on the word credentialing. Same thing. Credentialing, accreditation, what it means, qualification. It all gets a little bit confusing. So let me give you a succinct explanation. Let's pretend you go to university or college to train to be a professional. It could be an architect, an accountant, or something like that. It doesn't matter. When you finish at college or university, you walk out with your certificate. It might have taken 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but you now have a degree, we'll call it, a degree as an accountant. We call that a qualification. You now have a professional qualification from a college, a school, or a university. Now, in every country in the world, there are institutes. So in America, you have the National Institute of Accountants. In the United Kingdom, the Institute of Accountants. In Germany, in Bulgaria, in Lebanon, you have the National Institute of Accountants. Now, the institute doesn't train anyone, but they uphold the standards within their industry. So imagine you went to university, you did a degree as an accountant, you leave with your piece of paper, you now have your qualification. Then you can go to your institute, the Institute of Accountants, let's say, and you say, hello, you, I am a qualified accountant. Now, you've actually done nothing yet, you've just left university, but you go to them and say, I'm an accountant, can I join your institute? And they usually have some sort of a process. You fill in an application, you show your level of knowledge and ability, and then they will allow you to join. When you join the institute, we call that you now have your credentials or your accreditation. So the two different bodies, a training company offers a qualification. An institute or federation, sometimes they're called federations, they offer an accreditation or a credential. And they don't train you. You have to be trained somewhere else. So we say there's blue water between them. Your qualification and your credentials or accreditation. Does that make sense to everyone? Maybe you can just give me a nod or a thumbs up or a look of bewilderment will even do. I'll accept bewilderment. Okay. So we as an organization have actually gone out to a number of these institutes, not just one, and we have had our courses independently accredited by these bodies. And I'm just showing you 4 or 5 on my screen right now. Now, most coach training companies have no accreditation. Some, if they do, tend to have one. If they're lucky, they get accredited by one external body. We are accredited by all the ones you can see on the screen in front of you. We are accredited by the IAPCNM, International Authority for Professional Coaching and Mentoring. We are accredited by the ICF, International Coach Federation. The Institute of City and Guilds, worldwide. The Institute of Leadership and Management, worldwide organization in 135 countries. We're accredited by the IRCM, International Regulator for Coaching and Mentoring. So many, many different bodies. So I think it might be an idea if I stop my share for a moment and ask if there are any questions before I move on to my next topics. Does anyone have any questions on anything I've covered so far? Does anyone even care? No? Okay, I understand.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. And just so you all know, I take rejection very well. So, okay, all right. So, what do I want to talk about now? I want to show you the difference between coaching and conventional therapy. I'm going to show you another. I'll show you a PDF actually. So let me just see if I can share this. Okay. So hopefully you can see a colorful PDF there in front of you. And on one side, I've put conventional therapy. On the other side, I've put personal coaching. And by the way, I'm happy to share this. If you would like a copy of this, it's a 2-page PDF. Just let us know. We'll send it to you immediately. Very easy. So conventional therapy is all to do with personal strengthening. Coaching is personal evolution. Therapy is triage. Coaching is visioning. Therapy is issue resolution. Coaching is problem solving. Therapy is why me? Why this? Coaching is what's next? What's now? Therapy is unconscious to conscious level. Coaching is conscious to a higher conscious level. So, and I'm just scrolling down. The differences go on and on and on. So I would be very happy to share that with you. There's about 95 differences between conventional therapy and professional coaching. Now, by the way, there's great therapies out there, some wonderful therapies. Gestalt, transactional analysis, occupational therapy, cognitive behavior, many others. There's some wonderful therapies, but coaching is very, very different. Coaching is also very different to management consultancy. Management consultants, by the nature of who they are, what they are, their industry, they tend to specialize in a particular industry because they become experts in that industry. I'm very good friends with a gentleman called Lawrence, who lives in Offaly in Ireland, and he is one of Europe's top management consultants in the automotive industry. You know, they make motor cars. And he travels every week to some of the big factories all around Europe for many of the big names, you know, Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, Nissan, Fiat. He goes to Japan, Toyota. So he's an expert in the automotive industry. Great management consultant. What does he know about the shipping industry? Nothing. What does he know about the banking and insurance industry? Nothing. So this is one of the challenges of being a management consultant. If the industry you're in is doing well, you'll probably get some ongoing contracts. If it shrinks, you might have a challenge. As a professional coach, because we do not have to have the answer, client has the answer, not us. So could I, for example, coach a senior manager within the shipping industry, international shipping? And let's say he's got a problem within the industry. Could I coach him? Yes, I could. Do I know much about the international shipping industry? No, I do not. Do I need to? No, I do not. I need to know coaching. He knows the shipping industry. And my job as a coach is to help him to come up with the appropriate answer, not to give him the answer, but to help him to come up with and find the answer. Now, I love that. I love it to bits, because what does it mean? It means as a coach, I can actually coach men and women all over the world on so many different topics, issues, industries, situations. And the days are never dull. Everything is new and exciting. And I learn so much. So the only restriction as a coach, I guess, is language, because time is no longer a restriction. Distance isn't a restriction. As I mentioned, I'm coaching people in California, in Singapore, in Poland, in Costa Rica. It's language. So whatever languages you can speak, you can coach people in those languages. So I just wanted to share that. What I'll do now, I'll take you through a typical coach training program, just so you get a feel for it. And then I'll talk a little bit about income, how much money do coaches make? And we'll probably wrap it up after that, and any questions that you have. Okay. And I'm happy for any questions on any topic, except religion and politics. Okay. So, all right. Okay. Here we go. Let me get my slide. How will I do this? Let me use my whiteboard. I am hoping now you can see my whiteboard. Yeah, good. And I'm not looking away. Well, I am looking away from you. I've got 2 or 3 different screens on my desk here. The camera is over there. My whiteboard is over there. So I'm going to be drawing on it with my digital pen, which is an awful pen to draw with. So we have a number of different coach training programs. Our main, we call it our flagship program, is called the PCD, Practitioner Coach Diploma. Now, already we're standing out. 97% of all coach training programs in the world are certificate programs. You get a certificate when you finish. In the world of education, you have certificate, diploma, and degree. A degree from a university. This is a diploma, significantly higher than a certificate, but not as high as a degree. It's, if I can write this. Oh, my pen isn't. 440 hours of training. And the average person takes between 10 and 12 months to do the program. And the average person would do 6 or 7 hours a week in their own time, very, very flexible. You can go faster and you can make it a lot shorter, the program, or you can take your time and take considerable time, take many, many, many months to do it as well. But I'm just giving you the average to help manage your expectations. It is accredited by a number of those organizations I showed you earlier. It has multiple international accreditations. When you register, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are, we will send the initial course materials to you by courier. You get those within the first 48 to 72 hours. You'll get the training manual, course book, course logs, handbook. In fact, we get everything. You get everything you need, and you never have to buy anything in addition. There is a certain amount of home study that you do. We have a very sophisticated online learning management system. In many languages. And you log in and you work through the program in your own time. There are hundreds of lessons that you work through, and there are hours and hours of pre-recorded webinars. You do a certain amount of research. And writing. So you submit 5 short essays over the period of the course. And they are quite short. The average essay is about 2 pages, 1 page, front and back, about 1,000 words. And we'll give you examples of previous students' work for you to examine and get guidance from. Every student is given their own personal tutor. These are all very senior coaches, and they will work with you on a private, personal basis on a one-to-one, using Zoom or something like that. It's like having your own private driving instructor. And every time you meet with your tutor, we call them a mentor, you will coach them, and then they will give you immediate guidance, feedback, advice, and so on. And you'll meet with them on a very regular basis over a period of many months. When they feel you are ready, they will put you forward for what's called a final assessment. So it's like having a driving instructor and doing all your driving lessons, and then going forward for your driving test. And the final assessment is with a master coach. They have over 2,000 hours of coaching behind them. And you can redo that again and again if you want. So people always get through that. We then have webinars. And we have recorded webinars. Over 500 hours of recorded webinars are available to you. Shall I say that again? Over 500 hours of recorded webinars. And we then do live webinars every month. And you can log in and engage with the trainer and other students. And these are on coaching core competencies like questioning skills, listening skills, values, ethics, belief, self-esteem, building rapport, goal planning, goal setting. About 25 core topics. Every webinar we do is recorded. So if you can't make the live version, you can log in the next day and listen and stream it, or you can download it to your phone, listen to it in the car, anything like that. So very, very flexible. So this is what we call the distance learning part. We then have the face-to-face part. We have 9 days. We have a block of 3 or 4 days together, usually a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where we all come together for 3 full days. And we do it with groups of 20 to 25 students and 8 staff. We have one this coming weekend. So starting on Friday, in 3 days' time, we have one. People coming from all over the world to attend. We do 2 versions. We do a physical version where people actually physically meet, or we do a Zoom version where people can do exactly the same 3 days, 4 days, but on Zoom. It's not recorded, it's live, it's highly interactive with a huge amount of observation and practice and feedback. I'll show you some more details of that later. If you come to the physical one, we pay for all of your food, all of your accommodation, all of that is included. All of that's included. So you just have to get there. And then we have 6 1 day a month masterclasses. Again, these are live, and we have 2 options. Physical, come and meet together in a hotel conference room 1 day a month, or we do the Zoom version, and you have the choice. So let me stop that share, and I'll show it to you on a PowerPoint, which shows it in a bit more professional detail. So when you register, you will be given all of the training manuals and modules, and there's many different modules kerning. You'll be doing home study, reading, research. The modules cover communication skills, listening, questioning, building rapport, values, beliefs, goals, confidence, action plan. Over 25 completely separate topics and subjects. When you register, everything will be sent to you. One of the things you will be doing is a coaching support group and what we call a study buddy group. Study buddy groups are an integral part of our program. What is that? How does it work? Well, we join you up with some other students, and it could be anything from 3 up to 8, between 3 and 8 people in a study buddy group. And these other students could be from different parts of the world, so you get to meet them and know who they are. And you meet once a week on Zoom for half an hour, and you will do practice coaching with each other. You'll be sharing your written work and acting as a support mechanism, support group for each of you as you move through the course as a pod. So we call that the study buddy groups, an integral part of the program. And I mentioned that we have hundreds and hundreds of hours of recorded lectures. When you join, these are available to you immediately. And when you finish your program and you've gone and you're finished and you're qualified and you have your diploma, we still support you forever, completely free of charge. You get full access to all of the training materials you had. You can log in and access those forever. We do a live monthly support and development webinar, again in many languages. And these are to support you on your journey to be a magnificent coach for the rest of your life. So I often say, our company, we're a little bit like the mafia. You can join, but you can never leave. If any of you ever heard a song, Hotel California, probably you're all far too young for that, but you can check in, but you can never check out. We're like that in a nice way, where we will carry on supporting you forever at zero cost. Zero cost. So I mentioned the study buddy groups. Oh, I didn't mention you'll do about 60 hours of actual real coaching. In many cities around the world, we actually have physical groups that meet called coaching support groups. We've just set up another one recently in Bangalore. We're setting them up in Lusaka. We're setting them up in Abuja, in Lagos, in Birmingham in the United Kingdom, in Nairobi in Kenya. We have coaching support groups in so many cities all over the world. These are physical groups that you can go to one evening a month, meet other like-minded people, meet coaches, listen to a motivating talk, become inspired. I mentioned the 4-day or 3 to 4 day experiential face-to-face and the 6 one-day masterclasses. Here are some of our training venues around the world, but don't forget, people have the option of doing the Zoom version as well. So we give you both. This is the one in England, just a little bijou place in Oxford, Ancient Hall, gorgeous. This is one of our training centers in Romania. This is a beautiful training center on the outskirts of Sofia in Bulgaria, just on the mountain looking at, can you all see my slide? Can you, someone give me a thumb? Yeah, okay. It looks out over the city of Sofia. At nighttime, it's gorgeous, all the lights. This is one outside Warsaw in Poland. This is always a favorite. I'm showing you Antalya in Turkey, one of our training centers. This one is West Palm Beach in Florida, part of the Hippocrates Center. We run courses there. People fly in from all over America. So we always pick beautiful places, not just some concrete block in the middle of a city, so people can have a real experience. And like I said, if you come to the physical one, we cover your accommodation, your food, it's all part of the package. These are just some of our photographs. Now, the question people always ask, the very important question is the investment, how much does it cost? We vary our prices all over the world based on the local economy, based on the GDP. So we're unlike some of our competitors who have a one-fit-all worldwide price, a take it or leave it. We don't. So we are very, very conscious of the fact that in some parts of the world, things are more difficult. Things are not as easy. And we adjust our prices accordingly. So the best thing to do is talk to the person that invited you, and they will let you know what the cost and prices are in your part of the world. But I have 2 very important points to make. At the bottom of this slide, we offer scholarships. We're the only coach training company in the world to offer scholarships. And we offer very substantial scholarships. So if you're finding that life is a little difficult, things are tough, don't worry, just talk to us. We have scholarships available for our students all over the world. And we also allow people to pay over an extended period of time. An extended period of time. So And finally, so let me just stop my share here. I'll give you a couple of examples, like I said, of income, just to put it in perspective for you all. And then I'll throw it open to questions and we'll see where we go from there. So if you have, let's see if I can share this. Okay, I'm just trying to share my whiteboard again. So I'm going to talk about the difference between a life coach and an executive coach. The course I just showed you, that program called the PCD, actually qualifies people to be three. It qualifies you to be an international life coach, executive coach, and team coach. You never have to do any other training. You are an internationally qualified life, executive, team coach. Okay. So looking at the figures, a newly qualified life coach, when they're working with their clients, generally, not always, but generally the sessions are about 60 minutes, about 1 hour. That tends to be normal for a life coaching session. And how much will they charge? Well, I better give you some examples of different parts of the world, because it's different in different parts of the world. So in the United Kingdom, a newly qualified life coach would on average charge per session, this is per session, something in the region of £60. In the USA, a newly qualified life coach, and in dollars, would be something like 75 to 80 per session. In Eastern Europe, like Romania, Bulgaria, and so on, it would be in euros, or I know it's not in euros, but I'm using euros, so I'll just put, oh, my pen won't write. It would be about 45 euros. In India, again, I'm going to use pounds for India. We'd be looking at about £40. That's for a brand new, freshly qualified coach. However, we noticed things change. After they've been doing it between 10 and 12 months, we notice coaches change. They're feeling good about themselves. They're feeling confident. They're getting testimonials from their clients. They're seeing their clients achieve goals and break through barriers, and their confidence and their competence rises. And usually at about the 10 or 12 month point, they put their prices up. We see this all over the world. And in the UK, a coach that's been doing it about 1 year now charges something like £100 a session. In the US, in dollars, it would be about 130 US dollars. In Bulgaria and Romania and Albania, I'll use euros, even though you have your own currency, but I'll use euros. It would be about the 60 to 70 euro mark. In India, it would go from £40 to about £60 per session. This is for life coaches, Executive coaches, very different. What is an executive coach? An executive coach is someone who works with a manager within an organization, usually paid by the organization. And if you look at our website, you'll see that we have worked and still work with some very large organizations. You may have come across names you may know. Let me see if I can pick someone that you would know. Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola, Citibank, Santander, Bank Commercial Romania, LOT Polish Airlines, British Airlines, and many others along in that type of category. Executive coaches are charging right now between £150 and £1,000 per session. Not per day, not per month, per session. And a session with executive coaching would be about 2 hours or 2.5 hours. That's normal. 2 to 2.5 hours on average would be an executive coaching. It could be done on Zoom. I do executive coaching on Zoom. Sometimes they want you to go to their place of work and they would pay for the travel as well. So executive coaching is one of the growth areas right now. There are 2 or 3 specific growth areas we've noticed. And again, not just me. Stop the share. This is PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, who are saying this. Some of the big companies are having difficulty finding good quality coaches. There are not enough good quality executive coaches around to fill the need, which I find both interesting and motivating. So executive coaching is growing like crazy right now, driven by some of the very big organizations. If you search YouTube, you'll find Eric Schmidt has a short 2-minute video. Who is Eric Schmidt? Eric was the CEO of Google. Google was the first company in the world to hit $1 trillion valuation. Therefore, it was the most successful company in the world. And Eric was the CEO. And he was recommended by his management team to have a coach. He took on a coach called Bill Campbell. Bill was a magnificent coach. And Eric now has done a video on YouTube saying every manager in the world should have a coach. My goodness. If Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, is saying every manager in the whole world should have a coach. And lots of the big companies, again, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Hewlett-Packard, Dell, Bank Santander, Citibank, I could just go on, Microsoft, all of these companies are paying for executive coaches to come in and work with their senior management team all over the world. We've just finished a contract here in the UK. In fact, we finished one and now they want to start another with the NHS. It's called the National Health Service here in the United Kingdom to coach and work with some of their middle to senior managers. So coaching is booming. Parenting coaching is another area that's booming. Child and adolescent coaching, booming. So many areas. So I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm aware of your time. I didn't want to overreach. Do you have any questions, anything at all you'd like me to answer? On the world, politics, anything?
There are questions in the chat. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, no, I haven't. Right, see. So I'd like a copy.
I can read them out to you if you'd like.
Could you read them out? Because I can't see those where I am, Marcus.
Okay. So Petya would like to know what should be the approach toward clients who are resistant to feedback or change.
Oh, that's a good one. And that actually is very normal, very normal. So the 2 points I'd like to make. Number one, coaching is a volunteer activity. You can't force someone to be coached. It has to be something that they willingly engage in. Now, having said that, some people come to coaching with a little bit of skepticism, thinking, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. So what we suggest in those cases, we say, look, we understand. I tell you what, why don't we have just a simple coaching session together and we'll see how you feel afterwards with no commitment to take it forward. And that's what I say. I say, look, I tell you what, let's do this without any commitment. We'll have a coffee together. I always say that. Why don't I, instead of saying, why don't I coach you? I always say, why don't we just have a coffee together online? We'll see how it goes, and we'll see how you feel afterwards. And there's an old English saying, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Is that it? Proof of the pudding is in the eating. I stand then by my ability to coach that man or woman. And 9 times out of 10, at the end of an hour, they usually say, wow, that was incredible. And they've had a few breakthroughs. They've had, we use the expression, aha. We say they've had an aha moment. And I think the word aha translates into every language. So, aha. So that's how we do it. We would simply say, look, we understand it's normal to be a bit nervous or skeptical or reticent. Why don't we just give it a go? See how we get on. Have a coffee together.
Loretta would like to know, can we then say that a coach is a guide, since we do not offer the answers, but guide the coachees toward their own answers?
Yeah, you could actually. Yes, you could. As long as people don't misinterpret the word guide. You know, if you had a guide in the woods or the forest, you'd probably expect them to lead you, wouldn't you, and show you the way. But generally speaking, I think that would be acceptable. Yes.
Okay. Petia says, how to manage a situation in which a client has misunderstood coaching and instead she is expecting guidance or consultancy.
Okay, now, again, this happens. It's not unusual at all. When a coach engages with a client at the very beginning of their relationship, we call the first session the introductory session or the foundation session, but we would explain right there and then at the beginning how we see coaching. And I usually get my clients to sign a short, small agreement. It's not a contract. I never ask anyone to sign a contract, but it's almost a letter of understanding. So I, the client, understand that Gerard will not be telling me or to do anything. He'll not be directing me. And I explain verbally what coaching is. So I give the clients a short letter of understanding at the beginning of our relationship. And then in the very first session, in the very first 15 minutes, I go back over what does that mean? And as I explained earlier in the presentation, I talk about the 3 pillars. Coaching is non-judgmental, non-directional, and we don't have the answer. So I explain it right there up front, so they are completely aware. Okay.
Loretta, do you have time for more?
Of course I do, yeah.
Okay. Loretta would like to know, how do you set professional boundaries with leads while still maintaining a connection?
Yeah. Okay, so professional boundaries. Because boundaries, that can mean many things, can't it? Whoever, you don't have, it doesn't matter whether you train with us or not, but whoever you do your coach training with, that company should give you guidance on what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in terms of ethics, morality, guidance, behaviors, and so on. And we actually we do a whole session on setting boundaries and how to set boundaries and what to do if the client steps over those boundaries, you know. But it's one of these what if scenarios. You know, you do training courses and people say, but what if this happens and what if that happens? And then you find in reality those situations don't crop up very often at all. They really don't, because of the way you have behaved, because of how you hold yourself and compose yourself and how you deal with other human beings. You tend to find that they don't cross boundaries, right? But if they do, I'll give you one example. You know, a client can choose what coach to work with, but a coach can also choose what clients to work with. And it's only, you know, I've done over 10,000 hours of documented coaching, and I stopped documenting it about 4 years ago. I've done even more now. I've only ever stepped away from 2 clients in all of my time. And one was a gentleman, and I just didn't enjoy being in his presence. He was very, I don't know how to explain this. If I use the expression foul-mouthed, would you understand what I meant by that? He used very strong, abusive language all the time. And I don't want to use any of those words here, but he would be using these, God, I sound like I'm talking to a child now, but, you know, bad words when he's talking about anyone. He was just vulgar language constantly coming out of his mouth. And I found it very upsetting and distressing. And after about 3 sessions, I said to this gentleman, the way I said it was, I said, you know what, I'm really not the best person to help you. I think there are far better coaches than me who could be helpful and supportive of you. So I didn't do it in a nasty way. I did it like that. But that, you know, in all of the 20, I've been doing it since 1995, so 30 years, I've only ever had 2 occasions where people have stepped over my own boundaries. So it doesn't happen that often. It really doesn't. And you'll be taught how to set those.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
How do you master the art of asking the right questions?
Right. So I gave you a definition of coaching earlier. There's another definition. A coach is a master of the question, a master questionnaire. So what is coaching? Coaching is all about being able to identify and ask the right question in the right way at the right time. It should be laser-like in its focus. It should be powerful like a hurricane, but yet at the same time open and non-threatening. And that's easier said than done. So these questions should be so powerful, laser-like in getting straight to the nub, powerful like the wind, but at the same time non-threatening, non-aggressive, and open questions. And this is what sets the great coaches apart from the not so great. They are a master of the question. Now, what happens? What happens is this. When you train to be a coach, you'll be taught the techniques. You'll be taught so many different questioning techniques, and you'll learn them. And in the early days, you might even have them written down in front of you and as you're coaching someone. But then something happens. You reach a point where mentally, emotionally, psychologically, you change. And you just start relying on your intuition. You know, and you just do it, and it comes. It's like, right, this is a bad analogy, but do you remember when you first learned to drive a car? The very first time you learned to drive a car, and oh my goodness, there's so many things to do. You know, you have to have both hands on the wheel at the same time, the instructor says. Then you've got 3 pedals but only 2 legs. So you've got your clutch, your brake, your accelerator. You have to be working 3 pedals with your 2 legs at the same time as you're holding the wheel. And then the instructor says you must always check your rear view mirror. But at the same time, you must be looking out front, aware of what's happening in front. So you're looking in the front, you're looking in the rear, looking in the front, looking in the rear. Oh my God, 2 hands on the wheel and 3 pedals, but only 2 legs. And trying to, and then you have a gear lever. And the gear lever has got about 5 different positions it can go in. So you have to make sure that you keep 2 hands on the wheel at all time, except when you put 1 hand on the gear lever to put it into the right notch. At the same time, looking out the window, checking the rear view mirror, all at the same time. And you think to yourself, oh, I will never get this. And 2 years later, you leave for work one morning, you jump in your car, you drive for half an hour to work, you get out of your car at the other end and you think, I don't remember the last half an hour journey. My mind was on other things. But I did it. Because suddenly it becomes part of who you are, right? There's a wonderful speaker called Morris Goodman, and he talks about the horse. In your brain, you have a thing called the reticular activator, and it takes over. So you start to learn these techniques about driving a car and how to do it, and it all has to happen together in the same time, and you think, oh my goodness, I'll never do it. But after you've practiced it many times, your reticular activator kicks in and takes over that job for you. And now you're able to do it seamlessly, without stress, without worry. You handle all of those tasks in a flow. You're in the zone. So forgive my long-winded answer, but it's like that for coaching. You worry at the beginning about asking the right question at the right time, in the right way, and then something happens. When you become experienced, you just go. It happens naturally, and you don't have to worry about it. So that was a long answer, sorry.
Well, thank you for that, though. Okay, Svetlina, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Would like to know, how do you coach proaction, someone that operates through resistance, such as statements like, I don't want X, Y, Z?
All right, so that's easy enough. Okay, as a coach, you will learn about the different types of motivation. And there's 2 types of motivation, towards and away from. And some people want to do things in life because of the rewards. They want to work hard because they want to make a lot of money. They want to buy a Ferrari or a Porsche. They want to live in a big house. They're working. They want the money to do those things for all sorts of reasons, to make them feel good, feeling of significance, importance, safety, and so on. So they're moving towards their goals. Other people want similar things for different reasons altogether, completely different reasons. Maybe when they were young, there was no money in the house. They were very poor when they grew up. Maybe there were times when there wasn't food on the table. There were times when they had to go to school in clothes with holes in their pants and holes in their shoes. And they remember those days. And they now want success to get away from that, so that they never have to experience that in their life again. Right, now I won't go into this. This is the whole lecture. This is the whole day's training on towards and away from motivation. All we have to do, and we teach you techniques, is we identify with the client. There's a thing we do called a values elicitation. So we understand what their core values are, and we understand what their key motivators are. And are they a towards motivating type person or an away from? And that will then help us to deal with that situation.
Steve asks, I am concerned about the business of building a practice. I know that your materials cover this topic, but do you have a marketing division that we can engage their services to help us navigate reaching people?
Engage their services. You know, that statement sort of implies, can we buy it? Can we pay for it? No, you cannot, Steve. We're going to give it to you. So Let me flash up my screen. Okay. There, okay, I hope I got the right. Okay, so hopefully you can see the international coaching news. We, as a company, own the biggest magazine in the coaching world, International Coaching News. We own that. It's a completely separate division with managing director, IT teams, graphics. It goes out to 100,000 people every issue. We allow all of our coaches and students to write articles for the magazine completely free of charge. We will publish them, Steve, and we will put your lovely photograph and your website or your LinkedIn or whatever your contact details, and we will help to raise your brand and your image. How much will we charge you? 0. We own Coach Finder, the largest register of coaches on the planet. If you're outside of Noble Manhattan, you have to pay over $300 to be on this platform. If you are one of our coaches or students, completely free. You can upload everything, you know, your resume, your photographs, your audios, videos, your events. You can do it in multiple languages. And the name is fantastic, coachfinder.com. So when clients are looking for a coach, they go here. For you, Steve, completely free. We have coaching support groups that physically meet all over the world in many different locations. You can attend those. How much? Free. Okay. We have a publishing arm, the only coach training company in the world to do this. We will publish for you articles, case studies, white papers, ebooks. We'll publish them for you. In fact, we'll even turn them into an ebook for you at our cost, not yours. And we'll publish them to help you get known. We'll even sell them. If you want to sell them, we'll put a price on it. We collect the money and give it to you. How much do we charge you? 0. We have coaching tools where we will help you to set up all of the technical stuff like websites and search engine optimization and all your social media. We own a radio platform, Coach Radio International. Anyone who is outside of Noble Manhattan has to pay hundreds of dollars to have their own radio show. We will give you your own monthly radio show and we'll teach you how to do it. We're broadcasting in 11 languages. How much? Free. Oh, and all of our shows appear on a little platform called iTunes. Don't know if you've heard of iTunes. They all appear on Stitcher, worldwide, forever. For you, free of charge. Noble Coaches is where we actually go out and find work for our coaches. Now, I have to be careful here. We can't offer this to everyone, but we get the opportunity to do contracts with companies on a regular basis, and we give that work to the men and women who have trained with us, and we oversee it and project manage it. So we help them to earn. And then we have a very specialist division called the Alpha Group. That's quite specialist. It's to do with working with local business owners. So we will actually help you. Oh, and we have a course. We have a separate course called Build Your Coaching Practice. If you're outside of Noble Manhattan, you've got to pay for it. If you're one of our students and coaches, we give it to you completely free. And it teaches you everything you need to know about setting up your business, building your business, attracting clients, building databases, everything. So, Steve, I hope that sort of answers your question.
It really gave me new information as well. So that was great.
Thank you, Marcus.
Let's see. Is there such a thing as coaching a client for too long? What's the appropriate time for a coaching?
Oh, yes, there is. Now, there is no set appropriate time, but we will teach you to be aware of something called dependence. So if the client gets to a point where they are becoming dependent on their coach, then that is a time to step away and give the client space. So there is no set time. It could be 1 year, it could be 12 years, you know, depending on the individual. But we will teach you how to recognize that.
Okay. Couple more.
Okay.
How do you recognize values from vague statements?
Right. Okay. So we teach. There's a coaching model or exercise called values elicitation. And this is something we do with our clients very early within our coaching relationship. It's an incredibly powerful tool and exercise that will help the client. Even honestly, the clients themselves don't always know what their top core values are. And this helps to identify, both for the client and for you, what their top values are and how important those core values are to them in life. So we'll teach you that.
And finally, how do you coach avoidant clients, withdrawing easily when it gets uncomfortable? You may have addressed this already in an earlier question.
Yes, I don't want to use the word confront, but I will use it just for the purpose of this meeting to get the meaning across. We would confront that immediately. And we would raise it within our conversation within the client. Because sometimes clients will do that not knowingly. It's almost an inbuilt behavior where people will shy away from something they're not comfortable with. So we would immediately raise it and bring it to the client's attention and ask them, were they aware that they were doing this? And did they wish to continue doing this? And so on.
One more came in. How are you able to manage no-cost coaching support?
Okay. We work with a wonderful team. We have all over the world. We have the most amazing men and women, many of whom were students. They've qualified, now they're coaches. They work with us as volunteers and they give their time. And we are, honestly, we'd be lost without them. I mean that seriously. We would be lost without them. And we have such a wonderful group of women and men who give their time, they give their hearts to run some of our coaching support initiatives and groups all over the world. And it's because of that.
Okay. We're getting close to the top of the hour.
We are.
There are no further questions in the chat.
Thank you, Marcus. And by the way, for everyone, Marcus is one of those wonderful volunteers. He is one of our community managers who looks after many of our students on quite a number of our programs. And he has got the heart of an angel. He is such a lovely man.
Yes, I keep that heart of an angel in a jar on my desk.
You do, in North Dakota.
In North Dakota. Thank you for that.
Not at all, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, just email. Just email. There's never any pressure to do anything. And if you'd like more information, again, just let us know and we'll send it to you. And
Thank you so much.
Not at all.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Take care now.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take care.
Gerard. Thank you,
So much.
Diane.
Thank
Thank you, Gerard.
Bye.
Thank you.
Stop the recording.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.